Have you noticed that many API returns different response format for different endpoint? For example, a one API return a response into a format like name and its value, whereas other API returns a format in something like data with the real value and then a message. Now, this kind of discrepancy, this kind of different format create an inconsistency for front-end developer. In this video, I'll show you how to create a custom middleware in ASP.NET Core that automatically converts every API response into a standard format. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn a very practical concept in an enterprise API, a custom middleware. Now, if you're not aware about the concept of a custom middleware, then I have recorded an entire video on my YouTube channel that explains the concept of a custom middleware and its uses, its implementation and everything. The link will be added in the description. Please watch that section first. Now let's come back to our topic. So in this video, I'm going to write a custom middleware that will give me a consistent response format for all my API endpoint. Now my requirement is that all my API endpoints should give me a data in this particular format where I should have a particular Boolean field in my response which says success. The value of this field should be either true or false depending on my response. Then I should have a real data, which is my API returns the value, and finally a message. You can see I need something like this as a sample data, where first is my success, then the real data, and finally a message. For this particular demo, I have already created a sample API. It's an ASP.NET Core API, and right now it does not include a custom middleware. It only consists of a couple of endpoints, and if I just show you the answer or response of first endpoint, in this one, I'm going to identify or going to fetch the different products based on the ID. So if I pass ID as 1, this will give me a list of product where I'm getting a product name and description. And similarly, if I want to fetch all the products, I'll click on execute and it will give me a list of all the products. Now you have noticed that one endpoint is giving me a array of n value, second endpoint is giving me a single value, and we need to modify this response so that each and every response should have a consistent look and feel. Now there are two ways of doing this implementation. First is obviously using a custom middleware, and second is using a naive way, which we can simply create and we have to modify each and every endpoint. So let me show you that way first. I'll stop my application, stop my code, and in order to get that data, first of all, I have to create a object. This object is a, or this class is a response API response format. It is a simple class as of now, which consists of a couple of properties, and these are the properties which I want to return from an API endpoint. Like first of all, it accepts a Boolean flag, which is either true or false. It's the value of successful. If my API response is successful, then it will give me true as false. Then I'll show a message to the end user, whether my request processed successfully or there is some error in fetching a data. That is something which we will say. And then finally, we'll use a result flag. Now we have to give all my API responses in this format only. And how can I do this without using a middleware? So let's see first how we can implement this without using a custom middleware. I'll go to my product controller, and these are two endpoints which give me that data. So what I'll do, I'll simply write a logic if data is not null, which means I'm getting a response from my API. Then we'll create an object API response DTO. Now this data gives me an object of a get product DTO format. So I'll use API get product DTO. We'll use product list or products is equals to new API get product DTO. And the first flag, which is the constructor, is success. See, this constructor is coming from my API response DTO, this part. So I'll simply say that first flag or the first parameter in my constructor is true, which is successful. So I'm just hard coding it as true as of now. Then the second flag is my data. I'll pass a data. And finally, a message which simply says that request processed successfully. Now you must be wondering like what will happen if there will be a failure or there will be some exception. Definitely we need to write a separate logic for this. But as of now, that is out of the scope of this demo. Then I'll return OK of this data, this product. The same thing which I have to do in my another API as well, which give me a list of product. So I'll apply the same check over here. And this time I'll simply use a list of get product DTO and then again list over here. Now, this is the bare minimum way, or I should say this is the very naive way of implementing the same change. If I again run my API by .NET run and then command, and I'll again go back to my Swagger, you will notice that now my API responses should have modified. If I click on execute and then if I proceed further, see my API response gets a proper format. I do have a success, then a message, and finally my real result. The same thing will happen in my list endpoint as well, where I'll get a main success, then message, and then list of result. So this is the output which I want to achieve for my all my endpoint. You have noticed that if I want to give this information from all of my endpoint, then practically I have to modify all of them, which is not practical and not even something which we normally follow in my enterprise level application. So the question is how we can implement the same thing with a bare minimum code. And the answer is custom middleware. I'll revert these changes. I'll simply use undo changes so that it should revert all the changes. And then I'll stop my code and will create a new folder inside it, inside my API project, and give this folder name as middleware. Now inside this middleware, I'm going to create a class file, which is my custom middleware, or I should say a common response middleware. Again, naming convention doesn't matter. You can give whatever name you want. We know that if we want to create a common response middleware or custom middleware, we have to create a constructor. And inside the constructor, we should inject a very specific type, and that is my request delegate. So that's what I have done. I'm injecting a very specific type as a request delegate inside my this middleware. Also, I have to implement a method with name as public async task and then invoke async. Also, this method accepts HTTP context and then it proceeds further. And we need to write down a logic, await, next, and then pass a context. Now, this is the bare minimum code to implement a middleware. But what we have to do is we have to write our custom logic to modify our responses. And let's see how we can do this. First of all, we need to grab the original body. We'll write down where original body is equals to context.response.original body. I'm grabbing this over here because it might be possible that you are calling some other middleware down the line. So we need to preserve the original response so that it can be modified later. This response is in memory stream format. We know that all the APIs responses in a memory stream format only. So we'll use a memory stream. So I write down using where memory stream, and then we'll create an object of a memory stream. Then we'll use context.response.body is my memory stream. So I am modifying the current context and assigning an object of a memory stream. Then await next. We know that whenever we call a custom middleware, this part of code will execute even before hitting my controller. And once my API, once my request hits my controller and give a response back to me, then whatever I let it down after await next will execute. And this is the place where I can use to modify my response. So we have to write a custom logic over here to modify response into a specific format. What we'll start, we'll simply say that if context.response.content type is not equals to null, which means I'm getting something in my response, and context.response.content types contains application/JSON, which means that I only want to execute this line of code if I'm getting a response into a JSON format. Then we'll use memory stream.seek will start from 0 and then we'll start to begin origin. We'll simply set this variable, set this value. Then finally we'll use where response body, and this is the place where I'm reading the response body which my controller is giving to me. I'll use await new stream reader, and inside this stream reader I'm going to use this memory stream and then read to end async. I'll put a breakpoint over here to show you that this is the place where I'm getting a real response which my controller gives to me. And now we have to modify our response into this class format, the one that we have created. So we'll use where response object is equals to new API response DTO. This is the class using which I want to cast my response. It is quite obvious that all my endpoint, all my controller will give me a response into different formats. And I cannot give a particular type to it. So in .NET, in C# ecosystem, there's a very specific type that is object, which is my base type, which is capable of holding all the different types. So I'll define an object over here. Then we'll assign a value. This API response D2 constructor consists of 3 parameters: success, data, and message. And these parameters are coming from this constructor. I'll go to my response middleware and I will start assigning the value. The first value is success. I'm simply saying that I should give a success response that is a true flag when my context.response.status code is greater than equal to 200 and less than equals to 299. We know the concept of HTTP status code. And if the status code is between 200 to 299, that means it's a successful response. So that's what we have written over here. The next thing which will provide is my data. And for this data, I'll use JSON serializer. And this JSON serializer, I'm going to use a deserialized object. And again, this will be an object format because I have to make this as generic middleware. And in this object format, I'm going to pass a response body. So that's what we have done. I'm simply converting my response body into my object format. And finally, a message. And this could be anything which I want to give to my end user. As of now, I'm just hard coding it and simply says that request completed successfully. Now, once you have these responses, once you have this object format, the next thing which you have to do is we have to modify this response or convert this into JSON format and give it back to my end user. So I'll use where JSON response is equals to JSON serializer dot serialize and then pass this response body or response object over here. So this response object is something which I've written. And this line is very important where I'm saying context dot response dot body is equals to original body that we had preserved in the first line of code. Now, why I have done this? What is the main point of preserving this and reassigning it back? HTTP pipelines works in a stream. And if you don't assign it back to my original body, your client will not get any data. You will simply get a blank response. So that's why this step is required. Don't forget to add this line of code in your solution. And finally, we'll use await context.response.writeAsync and give the JSON response. And with this implementation, my middleware work is completed. Okay, that is the bare minimum implementation that we have to do. We have to also call this middleware from a centric location. And in .NET ecosystem, we have to do this with Program.cs. We'll come to my Program.cs and we'll write it down app.useMiddleware. Inside this, I'll pass my common response middleware. And that's it. With these line of code, with these changes, you will notice that all your API responses will be in a specific format, specific shape. Let's run this application. But first, implement a debugger at a couple of steps. So I'll implement a debugger in the beginning of this middleware. I'll implement a debugger over here as well. And then I'll go to my product controller and implement the same breakpoint at my get method and my get by ID method. And let's run this code in debug mode. I'll click on this green button to run this in debug mode. Once it completes its compilation process, you will notice that a Swagger window will open up. Let me check first of all a listing of all products. I'll click on try it out and click on execute. First of all, it reaches to my middleware because that is the functionality of a middleware that all the requests will actually pass through the middleware only. I'll process F10, and then debug it. And then you will notice that it reaches out to my controller. It will call my real methods, whatever is required to pull data from my database. And at this stage, you will notice that this data is not a specific format. It is only in that format which my API returns. I'll again press F10, will proceed further, and now my controller will come to my middleware. And here is the place where I'm going to modify that response. I'll proceed further and then start reading the value and see in this response body, I'm still getting the older response into a JSON format. So that is the one which my API gives to me. I'll proceed further, will convert this into my API response GTO format and then complete the execution cycle. And you will notice that my API response got modified automatically. Similarly, if I want to check for a single product as well, I'll again click on try it out. We'll pass the product ID as 1 and click on execute. For this particular one, I'll remove all the breakpoints. And then if I again proceed further, you will notice that this is also getting the same response. This custom middleware is very important. It's very useful to shape your API responses into a specific format. And all you have to do is just to write a few lines of code to make it work. Up to this point, we have not configured any kind of exception handling, but we can create a custom middleware for a generic exception handling as well. I'm going to create a separate video to explain that topic, to explain you how to use a custom middleware for writing an exception handler. Till that time, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you're liking my content, then please do mention the things in the comment section. If you want me to create a video on some other topic, then please do mention that as well. Thank you.